All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're here to talk about everything in terms of the world of professional wrestling. We guys had a great Friday heading into the weekend. If y'all who do have Saturday and Sunday off, I admit that I am totally jealous. Peanut butter and jealous over here. But overall, some people do have to work on Saturday. I have to work on Saturday. It sucks. But we have Wrestle Dream happening tomorrow for AEW. Also on Sunday, we have some NFL. I don't know if any of you guys are, some National Football League fans out there. I'm a New York Giants fan. It's not the best thing in the world right now. I gotta be honest. It's a little troublesome, but keeping my head through it. I have a lot of amazing matches to kind of ponder over. I'm part of a fantasy league. Also, I have a nice little football pool to kind of wrap my head around. So it's all fun. It's all fun. At the end of the day, it's all gravy, baby. So I can't really, we can't really be upset too much. But let's go ahead and dig on into this show. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Lawyer Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you today on tap. Today we're going to talk about some WWE Smackdown. We're also going to talk about my Thursday night wrestling review. We're going to talk about Ring of Honor at TNA. We're also going to talk about wrestling power rankings. We got my men's top 10, my women's top 10, and then we also have our something that I talk about every Friday. We talk about our weekend wrestling news roundup. So let's go and dig on into it. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat. Whether if you got a burning question or hot take in terms of professional wrestling or just something you've been dying to get off your chest. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are all ears 1,010%. We're here to keep the conversation lively, obviously 1,010%. So don't be too shy. Don't be too afraid to send in that super chat because it's going to be awesome. Drop your thoughts inside that little box there. And if you really, really, really want to make sure your comment, question, or concerns gets noticed on the show, why not use that super chat? It's that dollar sign below that chat box. Obviously, it's a great way to get noticed. Plus, it's a great way to keep to keep our channel alive. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do rely on a lot of contribution between the fans, the viewers, also the obviously the podcast hosts and stuff like that. We have a lot of awesome podcasts from football to sports to basketball. So make sure you tune into all that. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010%. Once again, if you have sports is all about, doing criticism. It's okay. Feedback is a gift 1,010%. So, don't be afraid. We are absolutely super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference, so don't be afraid to hit up that tips and donations link. Tell me what you feel. Go ahead and hit up those super chat. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. And, Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do want you guys to feel 1,010% comfortable with exactly what you guys have to say. So, don't be too afraid to hit that up. All right, so let's go to talk about our WWE Smackdown preview. It should be a good one. Obviously a lot going down. It's essentially the Fallout episode from WWE Bad Blood live at the Bon Secures Wellness Arena in Greensville, South Carolina. This is the first ever episode of WWE Smackdown during the 4-week build towards Crown Jewel. So, which takes place in November 2nd. Roman Reigns is going to talk about what's going on with The Rock, Cody Rhodes, also the rest of the bloodline. Should be interesting to find out exactly what he's trying to accomplish. Make sure you tune into SmackDown because this definitely has a lot of a lot of possible storylines that's in store for Crown Jewel. Also for the rest of WWE. The rest of tonight's card, we have Carmelo Hayes, who defeated the returning AJ Styles, obviously due to a freak injury, kind of thing. The referee called off the match due to the injured Phenomenal One, United States champion LA Knight, of course, gave the BFT to Carmelo Hayes, which kind of sucks. Sucks for Carmelo Hayes, but he's gonna bounce back. He's gonna be fine. Andrade also lurking in the shadows, ready to ruin the finish. Potentially, could be setting up a three-way match at Crown Jewel, which is very possible. I would love to see that. LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes, they hate the crap out of each other, so this would be pretty awesome. SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis and NXT General Manager Ava have agreed on an inter-brand match tonight. It features Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending the WWE Women's World Tag Team titles against Last Legend and Jakara Jackson of NXT. Does this NXT duo have any chance at beating? This is the ultimate like underdog shock, which would be pretty awesome. I feel like it'd be pretty awesome, kind of check out. Also, some other kind of stuff to keep an eye on tonight on SmackDown. WWE will book next month's Crown Jewel event in Saudi Arabia without trying to include Logan Paul on the card. Will the YouTube star, return to SmackDown tonight or within the next 3 or 4 weeks? We're not too sure. It could possibly, it could be, it's a possibility. It's a possibility, 1,010%. Also, Cody Rhodes. He's going to have to speak tonight about, first and foremost, what happened with Kevin Owens. Second of all, what exactly is going to go down with him in this match with Gunther. Should be interesting to find out because both of these guys are currently, they hate each other. We have this golden title, this Crown Jewel Championship kind of lingering in the wings. Should be interesting to find out what Cody Rhodes has to say, if he's going to stake a claim, if he's going to find out, if he's going to, attest, or if he's going to do anything he can to fight Gunther in his match. So it should be pretty awesome. Next, the WWE Women's Championship. You have Queen Nia Jax always lurking behind her shoulder, constantly, in this, is she going to have what it takes to to win this match? Is she going to find a way to win? Obviously, the person that is you got to worry about the most definitely has to be 1,010%. Tiffany Stratton. So it should be pretty awesome. Should be pretty down. Liv Morgan also in their match. Sorry, excuse me. Essentially, you're gonna have both champions there. You're gonna have both champions there, ready to fight, ready to kind of find a way to determine the next challenger. If Tiffany Stratton's going to win, so I think it's gonna be great. Giovanni Vinci is struggling to get some TV time. Hopefully, after losing consecutive matches to Apollo Crews, he finds his way to the top. AJ Styles, he's out for an injury. It's going to be awesome to find out what's his, next move in WWE. I give it about probably a couple of weeks. Is The Rock. The Rock has not been confirmed to be featured on WWE Smackdown. Little Chelsea Green, who still reeks of trash from last week's dumpster match speak. Also, Shinsuke Nakamura is still missing. What are you looking forward to the most on WWE Smackdown? Make sure you hit it up in the chat. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you feel. Tell me what you like. Just remember the Superman punch, that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. 1,010%. So make sure you tune into WWE Smackdown. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We're gonna talk about our Thursday night wrestling review. We're gonna talk about all the things that happen in TNA Impact, and we're gonna talk about all the things that happen in Ring of Honor. So hey, do not go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, here to talk about everything in terms of the world of professional wrestling. All the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage, curtain drama. We also talk about some, contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings from, from promotions like WWE, the AEW, the TNA, the Ring of Honor, the MLW, the GCW, also the NWA, and the CMLL. If it makes major news headlines in terms of, professional wrestling, we'll talk about it here on this show. So without further ado, let's go to talk about our next segment. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat, whether if you got a burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling or just something you've been dying to get off your chest. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are all ears 1,010%. It's all about keeping the conversation lively, making sure your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy, drop in those thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, questions, or concern gets noticed, why not use that super chat? It's $sign below the chat box. Just say hi, drop your thoughts, your opinions inside that chat box to be featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel here at the GSMC Sports Network. Your super chats obviously helps us keep the lights on and bring you even more awesome sports content that you guys love so much. That's worded a little weird. Uh, we are absolutely super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome and we can make this podcast bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, let's stay together. If the super chat is not your thing, hit up the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Tell me how you feel. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love, peace, love, and positivity 1,010%. So, yeah. All right, now moving on to my Thursday night wrestling review. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that's happened. Let's go to start with the AEW, with TNA Impact. Yeah. All right, we have TNA Impact results. Should be pretty badass. Should be pretty cool. Obviously on Saturday, October 26th, TNA Wrestling showcases their pay-per-view event of the year. Bound for Glory, kind of like a WrestleMania comes to the Wayne State University Fieldhouse in Detroit, Michigan, where Joe Hendry will challenge Nick Nemeth for the TNA World, Championship. Should be pretty awesome. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty dope. Obviously, we are less than three weeks away, which is a lot of stuff to kind of talk about. The crossover continues as we kick off with a huge tag team showdown. We have the Knockouts World Champion Jordan Grace joins forces with Master Slamovich and NXT Soruka to battle Chasha Steels, Rosemary, and NXT's Wendy Chu. After falling victim to the numbers game, Ruka is available to explode out of the corner with a soul snatcher to Rosemary. Ruka makes the tag to Slamovich, who goes on to the attack after Steels delivers a thumb to the eye. Slamovich Grace attacks herself in and puts Steels away with a juggernaut driver. Once again, you have Jordan Grace kicking ass, taking names, Soruka. Just a match made for disaster because these girls are amazing. And they're going to kick ass and they're going to win every single time they're inside the ring. All right, so there appears to be tension between Masha Slamovich and Jordan Grace. After Grace tagged herself in, Masha Slamovich has been a singles woman superstar, for like ever. So it's not really, it's much of a surprise that she would be, there's a little animosity between the two competitors. I think in the future these girls are going to fight after each other, but I don't know, it should be crazy. Next in a promo, we have Josh Alexander introduces Gia Miller to the Northern Armory, comprised of himself, Judas, Icarus. Is it Icarus? That's crazy. And Travis Williams. Alexander calls this trio of Canadian talent the future of TNA, which is kind of cool because a lot of people kind of anticipate that Josh Alexander's kind of on his way out of TNA. So honestly, if you're a TNA fan, you're happy to see this 1,010%. TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth is interrupted by the number one contender Joe Hendry ahead of their highly anticipated title bout at Bound for Glory. Joe Hendry asked Nick Nemeth if if John Bradshaw Layfield is going to play a role, but Nick Nemeth assures Hendry that he shouldn't worry about him. Kind of keeping it OG. Should be interesting. First Class are also, they're out. They're out as next as AJ Francis claims to have made Joe Hendry into the star he has been today. Francis turns his attention toward Nick Nemeth, leading the director of Authority, Santino Marella, making a tag team showdown for later on in the match. Nick Nemeth and Joe Hendry versus First Class. First Class. Heather Reckless begins to receive her makeover from Ash by Elegance and the personal concierge. After Josh Alexander's recent blindside of Eric Young, the two TNA veterans collide on Impact. Young was in the driver's seat when Judas, Icarus, and Travis Williams made their presence felt. Young was able to recover, however, and almost, defeated Alexander following his signature top rope elbow drop, which was pretty badass. This led to physical involvement of Alexander's new allies, the Northern Armory, allowing Alexander to steal the victory, causing him to win. Josh Alexander defeats Eric Young. After the match, Alexander, leads a 3-on-1 assault to Young. Meanwhile, Steve Macklin is found laid out backstage. Alexander delivers a heinous steel chair shot, assault on Eric Young's knee, kind of keeping him out. Knockouts World Champion Jordan Grace discovers a wall of Master Slumbervich's victim. Picture of Jordan Grace front and center. So a lot of things going on. Mike Santana is a man on a mission when it comes to taking down the system after they cost him his opportunity to become TNA World Champion this past summer. Santana calls out Moose, who has hired a security team for his protection. The two exchange in a heated war of words before Santana is swarmed by Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, and JDC. It's total chaos as ABC and the Hardys join the fray, clearing the ring of the system. Director of Authority makes Moose versus Mike Santana official for Bound for Glory. All right, so then it's the first time ever matchup between the Hardys battle ABC with potential Bound for Glory implications. The action is back and forth, as both teams, put it all on the line. But in typical system fashion, TNA World Tag Team Champions Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers hit the ring to attack. Both teams bringing the match to an abrupt end, kind of have to a screeching halt. The Hardys, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy versus ABC, ends in a no contest. The system is up by Director Authority Santino Marella, where he announces that due to their actions, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers must now defend their titles at Bound for Glory against both the Hardys and ABC in a full metal mayhem. That's that's pretty cool. Should be pretty awesome to kind of watch. Mike Bailey joins Tom Hannafin and Matthew Revaldance on commentary for this X Division #1 contenders match to see who his next challenger will be next week. Will it be Jason Hoach, Leon Slater, or the Laredo Kid? It's adrenaline pumping action at every turn as Slater soars with the Swan Time 450 to score the pinfall over Hooch. Leon Slater defeats, and he's going to be the #1 contender. Should be pretty awesome, because Leon Slater is an amazing, he's an amazing, athletic kind of talent. Next, we see the champion. We see the TNA World Champion, Nick Nemeth and Joe Hendry defeat First Class. And, then TNA goes off the air. All right, Ring of Honor, just kind of keeping it brief. My notes aren't popping up right now. Okay, let's see if we can fix that. There we go. The results, we have Gabe Kidd defeating Anthony Henry with a pile driver. Katsuyori Shibata beats Brandon Cutler. Billy Starks defeats Ella Elizabeth with a Swanton bomb. Shane Taylor Productions defeat the Infantry. Red Velvet defeats a Diamante via disqualification. Lance Archer, continues on this dominant road where he defeats Sam Beal. And Mark Briscoe defeats Josh Woods with a froggy brow. So, a lot of great stuff. Obviously, I'm happy that Mark Briscoe picked up the victory, which is pretty cool because he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time as of right now. Well, just as of right now. But I'm just kind of happy to see that, that kind of happened. All right, guys, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about our next segment. We had our wrestling rankings, our power rankings, men's top 10 when we come back. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Edward Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about everything in terms of the world of professional wrestling, all the, backstage curtain drama. We talk about superstar news and updates. And I got my chat from my man, Logan James, saying hi. What's up? Hope you're doing well tonight, my man. Hope you had an amazing Friday. Gearing toward an amazing weekend, Sunday and Saturday. So, well, God bless, my man. We talk about superstar news updates. We also talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and signings from promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor to CMLL to the MLW to the GCW to the CMLL. Once again, back forth, round robin. We talk about it here on this show. So don't be afraid to, tell me how you feel. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the coolest things of professional wrestling. Obviously, my power rankings. Hit up the tips and donations link if you guys want to talk about some stuff. If not, it's cool. Just keep, sending some chats, and it's, going to be awesome as well. All right, so now we're going to talk about our men's top 10. At number 10, I got Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is still, on fire, especially after everything that's happened with him and Cody Rhodes, which, came about a time where it was about necessary because of his contract ended in WWE. So, this match or this promo with Kevin Owens just kind of ensures that he is going to kind of get a new contract with WWE, which is absolutely 1,010% amazing. At number 9, I got Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley is set to take on Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Dream on Saturday. I ultimately feel like this is going to be a huge win for Bryan Danielson, but it's still kind of up in the air to the point where these former Blackpool Combat Club members, they were once friends, now foes. There's just a lot on the line here, and it's something that you can kind of drag out, something that you can help build futures towards storylines for AEW. So wouldn't it be too much of a shock to be like if Jon Moxley wins, and then maybe a month or 2 months down the line, Bryan Danielson reclaims the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in like a rematch because he's due for surgery at the end of the year, I believe in January. But his retirement tour, I ultimately feel like this is the end of Bryan Danielson. He's taking all this time, this energy, this effort inside these promos. He's going to be amazing. He's going to be amazing. He's also going to win. He's going to win 1,010%. That's, not much of a shock right there. He's going to fight. He's going to fight and face every best wrestler that AEW has to offer. Bryan Danielson is one of the best wrestlers inside the squared circle. So, there's no surprise to me that they're going to kind of give it to him and be like, hey, we're going to, kind of let your pays, get due. But right now, Jon Moxley, he's still, for the title match, I feel like it's like 50-50. But if Jon Moxley wins, he's going to lose it within like a month and a half. Might as well kind of have Bryan Danielson kind of get the win there. All right, at number 8, I got Jack Perry, the AEW TNT champion, still killing things on his own. The only guy that's really kind of, stepped out of the elite kind of limelight and kind of do things on his own, which he should do, which is the right booking for him. Jack Perry's amazing. Ultimately, I feel like he's going to be, He's the future star in AEW. He is 1,010%. Not really much to take away from this. You remember seeing him as Jungle Boy. A lot of people see him as a joke. A lot of people see him as someone who can't hold his own inside of a wrestling ring, someone who's weak, someone who can't look like that. He can't fight a guy like Swerve Strickland inside the ring, maybe Christian Cage. Christian Cage, even, that's even pushing. But Jack Perry has kind of proved a lot of people wrong. And, the way he's been kind of killing in AEW, that's why he deserves to be number 8. At number 7, we have Nick Nemeth, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, killing it as always. Number 6, we have Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe, the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. This guy just keeps getting, people who want to attack him, people who want to take the belt off of him. But at the end of the day, you cannot beat this man because he's, first and foremost, he's absolutely crazy. And second of all, he just gets the fans way too into it. He has a lot of people on his side. So 1,010%, you can't help but to root for this guy. Honestly, I fell head over heels for Mark Briscoe. At number 5, I had the LA Knight. LA Knight, he's been within the World Wrestling Entertainment industry. Also TNA, Ring of Honor, I believe the GCW as well. And he's just electric. That's something that, the reason why they booked him in a lot of title matches, the reason why they put the United States Championship on him was because he was electric, and still to this day, he keeps doing so. All right, at number 4, we got Gunther, the Ring General Gunther, which is right, which is about right. That's exactly where he should kind of be. I want to make him number 1 and number 2, but the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and to be honest, if you're a wrestling fan, you understand, doesn't really kind of, succumb to the WWE champion. You know what I mean? Like, you had Edge, and who was the World Heavyweight Champion. Then you had The Undertaker. Then the WWE champion, you had John Cena. You had Triple H, kind of more prestigious, a little bit more prestigious wrestlers kind of on their side. So 1,010%, you got Gunther. At number 2, I got Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson killing it as AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Like I said before, number 3. I don't think you can beat this guy. Like, this guy, I feel like once when he retired from AEW, before then, before he even won the championship, you kind of had, Tony Khan in an interview and Bryan Danielson both confirm that, Tony Khan came to Bryan Danielson so many times to be like, hey, honestly, we want you to win the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. How do you feel? And he's like, you know what? I don't like it. I don't think it's cool because, obviously he has surgery at the end of the year. So he's like, why not promote younger talent than myself? So he's the ultimate, kind of team player, which I think his retirement tour will ultimately be. And it is a retirement tour. He's going to win all the best wrestlers in AEW to the point where it's going to be like beyond reasonable doubt that this guy is the best wrestler in AEW history before he demotes from being a full-timer to a part-timer. So at number 3, I got Bryan Danielson. Number 2, obviously, I got Whoop That Trick, the NXT World Heavyweight Champion, Trick Williams. For, NXT to be 1,010% successful, you had to have had Trick Williams win this match. And that's something that, shouldn't be really a shock or anything like that. But overall, Trick Williams is the best NXT superstar they have. At number 1, of course, not really much to say about the American Nightmare, except that he's the guy. You can't really, Triple H, during this new era, the Paul Levesque era, that he needs one guy to kind of, bestow and to kind of have a lot of these wrestling fandoms kind of, manipulate their feelings around, obviously, WWE wrestling, well, even all wrestling promotion, they're very popular because the way they're manipulating the creativity, also blurring the lines between fiction and reality. So at number 1, I have Cody Rhodes, which is, not much of a surprise. He's the face of the company. He's something that a lot of people kind of look forward to. Seeing on WWE Smackdown, he's great with fans. He's great with the other wrestling talent behind the stage. So, number 1, of course, the American Nightmare. All right, guys, so hey, do not go anywhere. We did the men's, and now we're going to do the women's. Don't go anywhere because we're going to discuss the top 10 women in all of professional wrestling. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network. Here to talk about everything in terms of the world of professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain drama. We also talk about a lot of crazy things. We also talk about superstars, their inactive statuses, their injury updates, their contract negotiations, extensions, new signings from WWE, from promotions from the GCW to the NWA, the CMLL to New Japan Professional Wrestling, to TNA, to Ring of Honor, to AEW, to the WWE. It all comes full circle. So yeah, don't be afraid to go ahead and be a part of this show. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about our next segment. Should be pretty badass, should be pretty awesome. We're going to talk about our top 10 women in professional wrestling. And let's go ahead and jump on into it. Number 10, I got Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, I don't have her up near that, top. I have a lot of superstars that are kind of over her, in this list to kind of be, above her, mostly because of their wrestling abilities. I feel like Liv Morgan, she's a decent wrestler, definitely like a 6.5 out of 10. But, I feel like ultimately what's causing her success, and I was so tempted. I was so tempted to kind of ultimately, kind of put Raquel Rodriguez in this picture because I'm like, you know what, this girl's going to be prestigious. Her title run's going to be prestigious because she's going to have somebody watch her back, which, Raquel Rodriguez is going to be. She's going to be that Diesel to Shawn Michaels. She's going to be that Batista to Triple H, which is, which is the right thing to do. But at number 10, I got Liv Morgan. All right, at number nine, we got Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné, recently defended her championship, successfully, her double championship. But the reason why I kind of have her low is ultimately because, I feel like she is like, and 1,010%, it's all speculation. But I feel like she does kind of get special treatment from Tony Khan. I feel like, she has her own writer. She's in control of her own creative clause, which is a huge no-no in professional wrestling, which is going to cause the demise of your promotion. So overall, Mercedes Moné is number 9. I used to have her at like number 4 or 3, but at this point, like if she doesn't really endure any hardship in your wrestling promotion, because the moment she came in, she won the championship. Right now, you had the same thing kind of happen with Will Ospreay. But then Ospreay lost matches, and then he became the AEW International Champion once again. So there's some kind of justification between that. But right now, Mercedes Moné, she's just riding this high. She's just riding this, this conspiracy theory that she has, that she's, self-centered, that she's cocky, that she thinks herself above others. Obviously, she didn't get along well with a lot of other wrestlers in the WWE locker room from the Divas section. Or the, for women, sorry, I did not mean to use that word divas because that's outlawed here in wrestling. But I like Mercedes Moné. It's not that I think that she's not talented, but you can have all the talent in the world, but necessarily, kind of, I don't know, just be put above others. All right, at number 8, I got Rhea Ripley. Although she has not had a championship, she's going to be my number 8. 1,010%, I feel like Monday Night Raw needs her. She's the future of wrestling. She's young. She's amazing. She's physical. She's dominant. She's marketable. Basically, everything you need within the wrestling industry. So at number 8, I have Rhea Ripley. At number 7, I got Red Velvet, the Ring of Honor Women's Television Champion. Still, after defeating Billy Starks, still, holding the title well, holding the title, with proud encouragement, with engagement, also with determination that she's going to keep it. So 1,010%, I have Red Velvet. All right, at number 6, I got Kehlani Jordan, the NXT Women's North American Champion, who seems like she can't be, she can't be cut down. She can't be cut down. She can't be diminished because she's been great. She has been great. There's a lot of possibilities and there's a lot of other wrestlers on NXT in the women's division that you could have put that belt around, like Lyra Valkyria, also Tatum Paxley. Also, you could have had somebody like maybe even Wendy Chu. Screw it. Like, who knows? So Ruka. And you gave the title to this amazing woman, obviously very prestigious within the world of sports. So it's not really surprised that Kehlani Jordan winds up at number 6. At number 5, I got Mariah May, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Women's World Champion. She has a match at Wrestle Dream against Willow Nightingale. Should be interesting to find out who's going to win after that. But Mariah May has done everything she can to kind of overshadow exactly what Toni Storm, left in obliteration once when she left. Once when she, kind of took a hiatus based on, her wrestling promotion. But Mariah May, she's been killing it, and I believe she's going to continue to kill it. Nia Jax, I got at number 3, or number 4. Number 4, I think it is. Number 4, and it's because, finally she's getting her due diligence. She's getting the attention that she deserved long time ago. This girl should have been the longest reigning WWE Women's Champion, but obviously didn't really work out. Her age, this day and age of professional wrestling in WWE, she's getting all the belts. She's getting the crown. She's the queen of the ring. Also, she is our undisputed, WWE Women's Champion. All right, at number 3, I got Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez from WWE NXT. No one could really beat this girl. She finds a way to win, with the help of Cora Jade taking over Julia. I liked it, but at the same time, I kind of didn't because I know that this girl has a lot of talent. This girl could be the face of NXT. The fact that you kind of had her regain her championship with, by interference, I don't like that. I don't like that. I feel like Roxanne Perez deserves a lot more respect than that. Not really be like, all right, let's have Roxanne just be the longest reigning champion. Oh, hey, by the way, she's not going to beat anybody. She's not going to keep beating people straight up. No. She's not that good of a wrestler. We're going to have her win via disqualification, via distractions, stuff like that. To be honest, if you have that within your title reign, it's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like, it worked for Roman Reigns when he was the leader of the bloodline, because at the end of the day, they're like, you know what? Even if Roman doesn't have those guys, he could probably still have a good chance of winning. For Roxanne Perez, as of right now, she kind of does have that credibility, that reputation, as, she could still kick ass without the help of anybody else. But if you kind of have her too reliant, I guess that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you kind of have her start developing a self-reliance, having her ultimately depend on Cora Jade to help her win the championship, you might as well just have her lose it. Because, you don't really want to put any of the women's wrestlers, like Roxanne Perez into that kind of position. Because ultimately, it hurts their career more than kind of, if she would have just lost it right there. Like, you know what I mean? Right now, Roxanne Perez's perception from the WWE universe is this girl's a star. And I don't know, I just want to keep it that way. At number 2, I got Athena. Athena is definitely 1,010% amazing. She's the longest reigning, Ring of Honor champion in terms of the men's and the women's. So, not much to say about her, but she's amazing. And number 1, of course, I got Jordynne Grace. The TNA Knockouts World Heavyweight Champion continues day and night, week by week, continue that she's going to keep kicking ass, taking names. Obviously, one of my most favorite wrestlers on the planet as of right now. So, definitely can't wait to find out what her future bookings are, what's going to go on, moving forward. All right, guys, so we do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about my wrestling news roundup. We're going to wrap this up right quick. I'm always so over the time. Now I'm actually running on some pretty good time, so I'm happy about that. So do not go anywhere. All right, welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network, talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. And yeah, honestly, let's go and move on to our final segment. I'm running on great time for the first time in forever. But before we have a chat from my boy Logan James. One question is Tam Nakano, a mother, a bull, non-cano? No, she's not. No, it's no relation whatsoever. You asked me that question before. This time, this, sorry, excuse me. This time I had Google ready for it, and it's not, which is kind of crazy. But Tam Nakano, she's very popular in Stardom. Um, she looks talented. She looks talented. I'm gonna watch a couple of her highlights later to see if she could definitely live up to the hype that Bull Kano had, which is which is kind of hard. But Bull Kano definitely found a way to kind of introduce the concept of international women's wrestlers coming from Japan. You know what I mean? Like you see Kairi Sane and Asuka and Io Sky. So overall, that Asian kind of wrestling community is going to be spoken for from Bull Nakano. Also, like they're back. Like a lot of professionals love Io Sky. They love Io Sky. They love Shinsuke Nakamura, although Shinsuke hasn't been featured on Raw or SmackDown in a long time. Should be interesting to find out maybe future bookings from Shinsuke Nakamura. But as of right now, it's it's still kind of up in the air. All right, our final segment. We're gonna wrap through this quick. Don't want to keep you guys longer than you have to do. Next, we have Julia Hart. Julia Hart with this wrestling news roundup. We have Julia Hart making making a return to AEW. Obviously a member of the House of Black. I can't wait to see her come back. The former TBS champion. I would love to see somebody, stick it to Mercedes Moné because I'm sick of Mercedes Moné. You know what I mean? And I can imagine a lot of professional wrestling fans are. She's got a lot of great bookings because of her relationship with Tony Khan. Not that I'm saying that she's not talented. I'm not trying to say that whatsoever. Sometimes you get great bookings based on your relationships in life. You know what I mean? That's just what happens. That's just life. Like you get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like the whole, Vince McMahon, and then Triple H being in superstardom after he left China to go to Stephanie. Like, you get more opportunities. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily to be like, oh, that's the reason why I'm doing it. It's necessarily just a reason, not even a reason. You kind of do it and it's like a beneficial relationship. But overall, I feel like Julia Hart is I would love to kind of see her going against Mercedes Moné. All right, next we have Thunder Rosa has been medically cleared. She's recently she sustained a head injury, concussion, which sucks because she's an amazing superstar. I love seeing her on Collision and Rampage. So it's going to be kind of cool to kind of see her come back. Also, I love, hearing her on the Busted Open podcast whenever, she's with, Bully Ray. It's just Mark Henry. Like, it's fun. It's fun. Well, listening to wrestling podcasts other than my own, which is, hopefully, we can, as a wrestling podcast fandom, kind of come together. That'd be pretty cool. Like if I found out, Bully Ray was listening to my podcast, I'd probably be like, dude, I quit. I'm done. I quit podcasting. You know what I mean? Like I've achieved all I've had to achieve because somebody as amazing as as a wrestling veteran and legend like Bully Ray, listen, that would be absolutely so crazy. That'd be so cool. Of course, oh my God, I'm just kidding. No, that's my fandom. That's my WWE Attitude Era fandom, kind of speaking right here. My love for the, ECW, WCW, WWE. But it would be pretty cool to kind of find out. If you hit up a chat right here, oh my God, I think I would explode. I'd explode. I think I'd die. Okay, moving on. But Thunder Rosa is medically cleared. She had a head concussion, and I'm looking forward to her, coming back to professional wrestling. It's dope. Oh God, this is the story that's kind of left me heartbroken. That's ultimately kind of left me, in shambles. I know it's still speculations, and I know WWE recently, in terms of taking advantage of social media, like The Rock has confirmed that he's not going to be available for WrestleMania 41. So he's not going to be booked inside of a match. Will he make an appearance to ultimately kind of alter like a match outcome. Maybe perhaps, yes, I can see that happening. But I don't know. It just kind of sucks because I wanted to see that triple threat match. I wanted to see him against Roman Reigns. I wanted to see him one-on-one against Cody Rhodes. And now we're not going to get it. We're not going to get it. Why exactly is it going to be like that? I'm not too sure. Obviously, right now with The Rock and his bookings and stuff like that, like I said, which makes me think fully that perhaps it could be like a kayfabe thing. But as of right now, The Rock is not going to be featured in WrestleMania 41, which is kind of sad. All right, next, Tony Khan discusses introducing the AEW World Women's Tag Team Champions, which is, the right move. I thought they kind of already did have those Tag Team Women's Champion. AEW, obviously with the new partnership with New Japan Professional Wrestling, Stardom, the CMLL, the GC, not the GCW. Damn it, Ring of Honor as well. New Japan Professional Wrestling with so much women talent being able to kind of showcase their skills within kind of like a tag team division would be great. Overall, I feel like it would be beneficial, just like if you would introduce a mid card title for WWE. The best thing, the worst possible thing is like, hey, you introduce some title belts that cost like what, like 300, 400, $1,000. But overall, the marketing, potential that you could have from introducing new belts is, it's worth the squeeze. So we could see AEW, kind of bring in women's tag team titles. All right, then we have blading in WWE, according to news media. In certain circumstances, in terms of storylines, it's okay that WWE wrestlers blade. And we've kind of on this podcast talked about blading before. And not exactly what a lot of people would want to see. A lot nowadays, WWE, who went from a PG-13 to a PG, thought overall that blood was kind of silly, that we can make the audience be fully invested in a match based on our storytelling. But now WWE has confirmed that it was like, okay, now we could start doing blading again. And this is something that I kind of come from, I saw it come from a mile an hour, from miles away. Like, you had Drew McIntyre, which I talked about on this podcast, that was never really featured in a bloody show. And I knew for this feud between CM Punk and McIntyre to end, there had to be a lot of bloodshed. Obviously there was the predicament that Eddie Guerrero, he was cutting himself right here, he hit like a severed artery or something like that, and he was just bleeding. He was passing out in the ring, and it just wasn't good. And you see professional wrestling, like if you look at the forehead of Triple H without makeup, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, and it's just like scars, and it just it looks ugly, it looks tore up. But overall, blading in WWE is now legal, pending on the circumstances. All right, we also have Christian Cage in the news today. Vince McMahon admits that Christian Cage was basically was trash. Like, he did not want Christian Cage when he came back to WWE to kind of have any sort of success, which is kind of funny because on our last podcast, we talked about how Kurt Angle came back from TNA and he was the general manager of WWE Monday Night Raw. They buried him. They had him have an illegitimate son storyline with Jason Jordan. You had him losing the Raw versus SmackDown battle where Stephanie McMahon had to come in and do whatever she could to save the brand. Then she brought her husband in, in the 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match. Kurt Angle was pedigreed, and it was just bad. It was just trash. It was terrible. And the fact that they were going to do this to Christian Cage is just, once again, Vince McMahon being Vince McMahon. When they acquired a whole bunch of talent from WCW, they were like, you know what, let's throw these guys under the bus. We don't need them. We got to teach them a lesson. We got to show them that you guys aren't good enough. All right. Lastly, we got Jey Uso winning the WWE Intercontinental Championship, but that isn't exactly the story that we have, about this. The story is, Braun Breaker was expected to be a babyface. Obviously, didn't really happen. Showed out that he was actually going to be a heel. Jey Uso recently winning. I don't want to see his title reign going anywhere. But with this speculation of this Bloodline Civil War thing, WWE has seriously considered the fact that Jey Uso will lose his WWE Intercontinental Championship sooner rather than later, which is kind of heartbreaking. I don't necessarily like hearing that. I feel like Jey Uso is an amazing wrestler. I feel like he's the future of WWE. But overall, what's it going to take for this Bloodline storyline to kind of be bigger, better, and stronger than ever? It might consist of Jey Uso, leaving the title for, quite a little bit. Ultimately, it could have, it could be good. Could be good, but I don't know. It's still up in the air. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into my show. Thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. My hour is done. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Once again, love you guys. If you, just remember to, Superman punch that, like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network, follow the Twitter/X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. As always, hope you guys had an amazing Friday. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Be safe with your family, hug your loved ones, and just enjoy life. Because you never know. You never know with this nowadays of crazy life and stuff like that. Definitely, once again, want to mention sending all my prayers, love, and condolences to all the families affected by the hurricanes on the East Coast. So just know that the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, we're for you guys. 1,010%. Once again, thank you so much. And at the end of the day, guess what? Love you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.